I want to talk about right now is what can we expect from the woke in 2022. So let's look forward for just a moment. All right, so New York just passed a bill, a historic bill, they say, that breaks down Asian American data by ethnic group. So in other words, they just passed what they considered a historic bill to quit lumping all Asian people together. And so like in censuses and that kind of stuff and demographic data and kind of that, they're going to give each group their own special place. So the acting governor of New York signed that into law. The Asian American and Native Hawaiian Pacific Islander data disaggregation bill into law. And so they're heralding this as the greatest new attempt at trying to finally make America a post-racial society. So if anything, guys, I just have to say this. I think right there is proof positive that we are in a place of being post-racial in America when this becomes the thing that we're trumpeting now, that we have to look so far for racial things that the thing that they're so excited about is breaking up demographic information in a greater nuance level. So I'm like all for it, like cool, do it. But to me, it's a further indication of how unracist we are. So as the woke continue to stumble over their own talking points, I wanted to bring up this article. And this is the most hilarious woke pop culture fails of 2021. So we'll have a little bit of fun with this one. So the first one that we'll talk about is Will Wheaton. So Will Wheaton goes, yeah. So Will Wheaton is a guy that's absolutely relevant. He's the former Wesley Crusher on Star Trek, the next...
Wait, the original Wesley Crusher?
Yeah.
Like the OG from like the 90s? Mm-hmm. Oh, I remember this dude. He was like 10 years old.
Yeah, so what's it called? Star Trek the what?
Next Generation.
The Next Generation.
The next
It was the one with Captain Picard.
Yeah, in my opinion, the best. I was kind of a Trekkie more than a Star Wars guy.
Oh, dude. The Next Generation was legit.
Yeah, I like
there's
it.
Nothing nerdy about saying
I'm
that.
just going to go ahead and say my dad watched it.
Yeah, there you go.
It's super woke, too, but there's too much to talk about there.
Wokeness warp speed.
Will Wheaton decided to kick off 2021 with a bombshell by labeling himself a domestic terrorist insurgent by saying that all white people are domestic terrorist insurgents.
I feel like I need a where are they now?
Like 100%. 3 days later, he was arrested in prison for terroristic acts. What was he doing? Mowing the lawn.
Maybe he was trying to tell us something, but he's like, "Oh, white people are horrible." And he's just like, "And I'm a white person, and white people are domestic terrorists."
I'm trying to change my skin.
Clayton Bigsby.
Like, maybe he just needed that moment because he's actually a domestic terrorist. Who knows?
Look in the mirror.
But certainly a backlash on that one. To himself. All right, and then of course Gina Carano gets the chop. The reason I want to bring this up is this is a little hackneyed because this was all over for a minute. But the reason that this is so important to bring back up so that we can look back at the woke in 2021 is that I don't know if you guys remember this, but right at the exact same time that Gina Carano was getting into hot water for her Nazi post that she put up about like neighbors ratting on each other is like Nazi Germany is basically kind of the thing that
which
she
is
said.
True.
And so around that same time, her co-star, what's the guy's name? Pedro Pascal, who is the Mandalorian, also did the exact same thing. And so it says, meanwhile, Mandalorian co-star Pedro Pascal was allowed to keep his job after equating literally half of the United States to Hitler's Nazi party.
I think the true thing here is just women are treated different in the workplace.
Correct.
That's
not equality. That's not equality. That's superiority, ladies.
But this is Disney, folks. It's a magical place.
Example.
That's right.
I guarantee
the magic
there's
starts
a huge pay discrepancy.
So wait a second. So you don't think that it has anything to do with the fact that Pedro Pascal is probably a far leftist and Gina Carano is a conservative?
Or the fact that he is the main character of the money-making show?
Let's not fire him.
Pedro, we really wish...
How much can we put a helmet on him in every scene?
Yes.
Don't take the helmet off, sir.
We can replace the really cool Mandalorian chick, but we can't lose the main character.
Not the main guy.
No.
We don't care what he says. All right, so let's go on to the next thing. AOC, the darling of the left. left. Everyone's favorite.
Bartender.
The one.
The squad.
The one who, no matter whenever she faces criticism, will find a way to turn it into a compliment to herself, because she just. Oh, so I do got to say
I
this.
feel like she looks like a horse.
I didn't say that. I have been told that.
Oh,
I'm
yeah,
not saying
that's
like
okay.
I'm not hitting on
Likely.
her by making fun of her. I'm not laughing at her.
Yeah, sure.
I'm not laughing
Sure,
with
Spencer.
her. I just think she's wrong.
She's hip to your game, brother. She knows when you criticize her, it's actually because you really desire her.
That's exactly right. I want to be with somebody that I totally don't agree with.
So
that is not marriage.
So people understand what we're talking about. Is she was just recently in Florida, and somebody who was in Trump's cabinet said, pointed the hypocrisy of her being there while she's a representative in New York City, which is incredibly locked down. So she goes and leaves New York and goes to the red state, to the death hellscape, Ron DeSantis's headquarters, to go and spend some time unmasked, hanging out with drag queens.
Is this where
and all sorts of other
DeSantis came
things.
out and said, like, if I had $1 for every time an unmasked leftist
Bill Gates
came to...
Bill Gates has a house down there, by the way.
Yeah, sure.
I read that.
Surprise me.
Next to Epstein. I'm just kidding about that. That's just a joke. You can't even look that up. I'm just joking.
So anyway, so the article goes on to say AOC thought it would be also good. So I want to bring us back to the remembrance of what took place at January 6th with AOC. So she thought it would be a really good idea to lie openly about her presence during the January 6th riots, doing that cry video. And if you have a problem with that, it's probably because you love her. By making it sound as if she was mere inches away from being sexually assaulted and murdered, and actually she was nowhere near any of it.
Definitely not.
All right, so let's move on to maybe just a couple more here. All right, so this one I think is just this is another one bringing it up on the radar. Dr. Seuss's books get canceled.
Yeah, that sucks.
Old Doc.
By the way, AOC also cried at the border.
That's
Remember
true.
that? The kids in cages thing? That was turned out to be kind of like
She's got an MO. When
in doubt,
we're
cry it
already
out.
going back to the other one. When Ben Shapiro said he wanted to debate her, she responded by saying on Twitter that he was catcalling her.
Well,
she has an MO, man. Whenever she's backed into a corner and she does not have an
trying to sleep
excuse.
with me.
who is going to carry the torch for Jesse Jackson and Al Sharpton?
Oh, God.
AOC, baby.
Can we just put that torch out?
You down with AOC? Yeah, you know me.
All right, so back. Guys,
to
remember
the Seuss.
back to you guys remember back to when Dr. Seuss was canceled?
I do, and actually, you don't take notice of the books you have. But you're like, oh, we do have some of his books, but
Canceled.
canceled. Yeah, it's
We're going to need to confiscate those books for the book burning.
exactly. You know, like it's just kind of crazy.
You can't have Dr. Seuss in your house, but you can have books in the public library and in elementary schools, high schools, with children performing sexual acts on each other.
Yeah.
That's acceptable, but Dr. Seuss is going to talk about green eggs and ham. Like, whoa, come
or
on.
just have a Chinese character.
Yeah. Like,
and-
falls into some type of stereotype.
It's
and
just
look, I think you gotta. Society has changed so much. So what was acceptable as talk or dialogue 50 years ago was like a different. We just talked about this, like with the Trump Epstein comment from 2002. Like we're like already in a new era.
Yep.
So it's like there's going to be things that we go back and look at, and sometimes we're gonna be like, you know what, we probably shouldn't have said that.
Yeah.
Does that mean we should burn everything associated with it?
Correct.
You know, like.
Can you crucify somebody for one bad comment? I mean, you'll never allow anybody. Nobody will make the goal.
Here's the thing: is that there seems to be this just absolute, what's the word I'm looking for? Absolute refusal to try to look at intent and motive.
Yeah.
Because it's clear that that he is a product of his time, Dr. Seuss, and that he's not meaning to be pejorative merely. He's just writing a story and he's trying to make it fun for kids. So he's doing some things that he thought would just spice the story up. He's not trying to do anything overtly racist or anything like that. It's just we do ourselves a disservice. Like, I think you're 100% right that we should be able to go back and say, hey, thank God we've moved from here and we've learned.
Yeah.
Hopefully that's who we are as human beings.
Sure.
But also, too, there needs to be a healthy amount of just trying to understand what was taking place back there before we get to the place of just destroying it, canceling it.
Correct.
Speaking of revisionist history, so now the last thing in our woke destroys everything.
Woke gone wrong.
In 2021, the woke decided to destroy Superman. So Both Marvel and DC Comics decided to further alienate their fan base and pave the way for anime's continued market dominance by rebranding their popular superheroes as woke icons. Both companies took two of their signature heroes, Captain America and Superman, and decided to make them homosexual because this is now the world we live in. All right, so
who is like, you know what, guys? I'm done. I haven't had a trans or gay Captain America, and I'm pissed.
We've eliminated the ability for people to really reach out for the people that they identify with. SNL had superheroes that 100%. There it is. They had the superheroes for years, but now we can't talk about it. It was the ambiguously gay duo.
Wait,
and
did they block that?
No, I'm just saying, so SNL probably wouldn't.
They won't accept that because it was a parody.
Correct, but so is Superman in so many ways. I'm not putting on any kind of underwear on the outside of spandex because I don't wear spandex.
Yeah.
And even if I had the ability, I'm not going to go fly around in that.
Well, I think more importantly, here's the thing in my mind that sticks out the most is that, not only is it totally cliched to just let's make him gay. It's like
Superman.
I get it, JJ.
He's gonna be gay.
How is that a compelling storyline? That's the most uncreative thing that you can do is to just say, you know what we'll do? We'll change who his partner is. That's just we've come to the end of actually real storytelling. We don't care about universal truths that bind us together. We care about who the person is sleeping with. And
you can catch brand new episodes of Indie Thinker with Reed Huberman every Monday and weekly bonus episodes to keep you thinking throughout the week. But you have to subscribe and click the bell to be notified when new episodes drop. If you enjoy this content, make sure to like this video and share it with friends.